Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
All right, so picture this, 1853. A guy named Elisha Otis stands on top of an elevator platform high above a crowd at the New York Crystal Palace.
Oh, wow.
And elevator accidents, they were all too common back then.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But Otis, this guy had a trick up his sleeve.
Okay.
The first safety brake.
Interesting.
So he has his assistant raise the platform way up and then dramatically cuts the elevator cable.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that?
What happened?
The crowd gasps, expecting a disaster, but
I bet.
the platform holds firm. Otis just looks down, all cool and collected, and says, "All safe, gentlemen, all safe."
I love that story.
Talk about an impactful message.
Yeah.
It's considered probably the first elevator pitch short, powerful, and unforgettable.
Why?
And that is exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
How to craft those concise, compelling pitches that can leave a lasting impression on someone.
Sounds good.
And we're going to be using this German guide called 3 Steps to Your Elevator Pitch.
Right.
It's packed with practical advice.
I'm excited.
Me too. It's interesting how this guide kicks things off.
How so?
Not with like the writing of the pitch itself,
Yeah.
but with a set of questions.
Okay.
They really emphasize the importance of preparation.
I like that.
It reminds me of how chefs spend more time prepping ingredients than actually cooking, you know?
Right.
Okay, so let's unpack these crucial questions.
Right.
The first one is, who is your ideal customer?
Okay.
So we're not just like blasting out a generic message. We're really thinking about who we're trying to reach, right?
Yes, exactly. Tailoring your pitch is key.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. You wouldn't use the same fishing lure for every type of fish you know.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to know what your customer fish, what they find appealing,
Mm-hmm.
what are their needs, their pain points, what are their aspirations.
Yeah.
A pitch for a tech investor will be vastly different from one for, say, a potential client for your design services.
Right. So it's about understanding their world and speaking their language.
Exactly.
The guide's second question is, what exactly are you offering? And here's where it gets tricky, because we all want to say everything about our amazing product or service.
It's a natural impulse,
Right.
but the guide wisely advises against it. Choose one key aspect,
Okay.
that one irresistible element that truly sets you apart.
Right.
This is where clarity and focus are paramount.
Yeah.
Don't try to boil the ocean, just offer a delicious sip that leaves them wanting more.
Less is more, especially when you've only got like a few moments to capture someone's attention.
Exactly.
And then the guide hits us with this gem, what's in it for the customer.
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's not just about what we offer, but how it benefits them.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And they drive this point home with a fantastic quote from OB founder Manfred Mauss.
Okay.
The customer doesn't want a drill, he wants a hole in the wall.
I love that.
It's about understanding the outcome they desire, not just the tool they might use to get there.
It's like, I don't just want a fancy camera. I want to capture amazing memories with my family. I'm getting the feeling this guide is less about specific words and more about a mindset shift.
Absolutely. And that leads us to their fourth question. What makes you unique?
Okay.
This is where you separate yourself from the pack. In a world of countless options, why should they choose you?
This is where your personality and passion can really shine through. It's
Yeah.
about that special sauce, that unique flavor you bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, the guide asks, what do you want them to do after your pitch?
Okay.
This is your call to action, the clear next step.
Right.
Do you want them to visit your website, schedule a meeting, follow you on social media? Always have a destination in mind.
Don't leave them hanging.
Right.
Give them the path to follow. So we've laid the groundwork with these 5 questions. Like, we've mapped out the terrain before setting off on our adventure.
Yeah.
But how do we actually structure this elevator pitch?
That's where step 2 comes in Structure for Success. The guide introduces the AII formula, attention, interest, desire, and action. You probably heard of it. It's a classic marketing framework.
Yeah, it rings a bell. But sometimes these formulas feel a bit abstract. How do we actually make it work in a real-world pitch?
That's where the guide gets really specific. They call the first sentence your first date, emphasizing how crucial a strong opening is.
Ooh, I like that analogy. So no pressure then.
Right. But don't worry, they offer 3 proven methods for crafting that captivating opener. First, start with a personal or client story. This immediately creates a connection and draws the listener in.
Okay,
People love stories. It's how we're wired.
that makes sense. Stories are memorable and relatable. What are the other 2 methods?
Second, pose a powerful question or make a bold statement that provokes thought. You want to get those mental gears turning, pique their curiosity, and make them lean in for more. And third, use a vivid analogy to make abstract concepts more concrete. They give the example of Jaws in space as a pitch for the movie Aliens.
Okay.
Short, memorable, and it instantly captures the essence of the film.
Now that's brilliant. I'm definitely going to use that one. Okay, so we've snagged their attention with a killer opening. What about the rest of the pitch structure?
The guide offers 3 different structural templates or blueprints for building your pitch. They emphasize that these are just starting points and countless other structures exist, but these provide a solid foundation.
Let's hear about these blueprints. Which one should I pick?
It really depends on your goal and the situation. The first is the what-if pitch. This approach is all about tapping into the listener's curiosity and presenting yourself as a solution provider.
I like that. It's almost like a gentle challenge, inviting them to imagine a better possibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's say you're at a networking event and someone mentions they're struggling to reach a younger audience with their marketing.
Okay.
You could open with a question like, what if there was a way to connect with Gen Z without breaking the bank or coming across as out of touch?
Ooh, that's a great hook. You've immediately piqued their interest and positioned yourself as someone who might have the answer.
Precisely. Then you briefly explain how your product, service, or idea addresses their pain point and provides a solution. And you end with a clear call to action, like inviting them to check out your website or schedule a quick chat.
So it's a very problem-solution focused approach. I can see that being effective in a lot of situations. What's the next blueprint?
Next, we have the ABC pitch, also known as the tweet-sized pitch. This one is all about brevity and impact, distilling your message down to its essence. You start by stating who you help, then describe how you help them, and finish by highlighting the key benefit or outcome.
So it's like a super condensed version of your value proposition packed with punch.
Exactly. Let's say you're a freelance writer specializing in crafting compelling website copy. Your ABC pitch could be, I help businesses turn website visitors into loyal customers with words that engage, persuade, and inspire action.
See, short, sweet, and it tells me exactly what you do and why it matters. Now, what about the last blueprint? This one's got me really intrigued.
This last one is all about harnessing the power of narrative and social proof. It's the customer story pitch.
I knew it. Stories are just so engaging. I bet this one really sticks with people.
Absolutely. Instead of just listing your features and benefits, you let a satisfied customer do the talking for you. This builds instant credibility and trust. Think about those testimonial videos you see online. They can be incredibly persuasive.
Okay, so how do we craft a killer customer story pitch? Give me the inside scoop.
First, choose a story that's relevant to your target audience and the context of your conversation. Make sure it highlights a problem the customer was facing that your product or service helped them overcome. Then be specific about the positive results they achieved, and don't be afraid to inject some emotion into the narrative. Let people feel the transformation.
So it's not just about dry facts and figures, but about painting a vivid picture of the before and after.
Exactly. You want your listener to connect with the story on an emotional level and see themselves experiencing those same positive outcomes.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. It's amazing how much strategic thinking goes into crafting a truly effective elevator pitch. It's not just about rambling off a list of accomplishments. It's about understanding your audience, crafting a compelling narrative, and delivering it with confidence and clarity.
You've got it. And remember, these blueprints are just starting points. Experiment. Find what feels authentic to you, and don't be afraid to break the mold.
Okay, so we've mapped out our message, we've got our blueprints, but now it's showtime.
Yeah.
How do we actually deliver this elevator pitch in a way that captivates, convinces, and leaves a lasting impression?
This is where it all comes together. The performance aspect of the pitch.
Yeah.
And the guide offers some great tips to make sure you shine on stage or, in that imaginary elevator.
Okay, hit me with your best advice. What's the first thing I need to focus on?
Well, it all starts with your physical presence.
Yeah.
Communication, it's more than just words. It's about how you carry yourself.
Okay.
Stand tall shoulders, relaxed, weight balanced, project confidence and authority.
So no slouching or hiding behind the podium.
Definitely not. You wouldn't go on a first date looking disheveled and unsure of yourself, would you?
Right.
You want to present the best version of you, and that includes your posture.
Makes sense. So stand tall shoulders, back channel, my inner superhero. What's next?
Next up, let's talk about those amazing tools we all have our hands.
Okay.
Hand gestures can add so much emphasis and expressiveness to your pitch.
Yeah.
But use them purposefully. Avoid nervous fidgeting or pointing directly at people that can be a bit aggressive.
Right.
Instead, Use open, inviting gestures that flow naturally with your words.
Like a conductor leading an orchestra, bringing the music to life.
Exactly. Think about how a conductor's movements convey the emotion and energy of the music. Your hand gestures can do the same for your pitch.
Okay, I'm picturing it now. Confident posture, expressive hands. Now let's talk about the instrument itself. My voice.
Ah, yes. Your voice is a powerful tool. Pay attention to your pace and tone. Speak slowly and clearly, enunciating your words. Vary your pitch to keep things interesting and emphasize key points. And don't underestimate the power of the pause.
Yeah, I've noticed that even in casual conversation, a well-placed pause can create drama and anticipation. It draws people in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It gives your listener a moment to process what you've said and adds weight to your message. And speaking of drawing people in, let's talk about eye contact.
Ooh, this is the one that always gets me a bit nervous. I know it's important, but it can feel so intense.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, eye contact, it's all about connection, not intimidation. If you're speaking to a group, try making eye contact with different people in the audience, holding it for a few seconds each time.
Okay.
If you're talking to one person, try to maintain genuine eye contact without staring them down.
So confident, but not creepy. Got it. I'm going to practice my eye contact game in the mirror later. But even with all these tips, I have to admit, the thought of actually delivering my elevator pitch out in the wild is still a bit daunting. What if I freeze up or my mind goes blank?
Those are common fears, and it's perfectly normal to feel some butterflies. Remember, even the most experienced speakers get nervous sometimes. The key is to channel that nervous energy into positive enthusiasm.
Okay, I can try that. Fake it till I make it right.
Not exactly faking it, but embracing that energy and letting it fuel your passion. And here's a little secret. No one expects perfection. People are more interested in your authenticity and your message than in whether you stumble over a word or two. Just be yourself, be prepared, and focus on connecting with your audience.
That's really reassuring. I'm feeling more confident already. So I've got my posture, my hand gestures, my voice, my eye contact. What's the final piece of the puzzle?
Practice, practice, practice. The more you rehearse your elevator pitch, the more natural and confident you'll become. Practice in front of the mirror. Record yourself, present to friends and family. Get comfortable hearing those words come out of your mouth.
So it's like anything else, the more you do it, the more polished and effortless it becomes.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment with different delivery styles and get feedback from others. The goal is to find what feels authentic to you and makes your message shine. And remember, the ultimate purpose of an elevator pitch isn't necessarily to close a deal right then and there. It's about sparking interest, creating a connection, and opening the door for future conversations.
So it's like planting a seed that with time and care might grow into something amazing.
That's a great analogy. Just like a seed needs the right conditions to flourish, your elevator pitch needs to be nurtured and shared strategically. But with the tools and techniques we've explored in this deep dive, you're well equipped to plant those seeds of opportunity.
This has been an incredible journey. We've gone from the historical origins of the elevator pitch to the nuts and bolts of crafting and delivering a compelling message. I feel like I've gained a whole new arsenal of communication superpowers.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you. Now it's your turn to put these superpowers into action. Take those blueprints, practice your delivery, and get ready to share your brilliance with the world.
Thanks for being such an awesome guide. I'm feeling empowered and inspired to make my ideas heard. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got an elevator pitch to craft.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.